My second videos are always normally wonky, so sorry if it is. Let's see here. Okay, so this one was really powerful. This came to me immediately when I woke up. Like, as soon as I opened up my eyes this morning, this was the first thought that popped in my head. And I was like, it was a hard swallow, because I was like, dang, that is so true. That is so true. World founded on evil, ran by evil, and led by evil would equal a world filled with darkness and evil. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Let's think about that. Let's say that one more time. World founded on evil, ran by evil, led by evil would equal a world filled with darkness. Now again, I'm not saying that everyone in our generations, right, in the past decades upon decades have been evil. All right. And those that founded the great United States, the forefathers, right? But your network is unstable. Yeah, I get it. They just took our internet. Go figure. I'm hitting some nuggets with this one. That's funny. Oh, back online. Here we go. Here we go. Buckle up, buttercups. So I'm not saying that everybody is evil, but what I am saying is, as the years and decades have gone on, every decade, every year, there seems to be more evil than good in very prominent places of this world. And because every year the numbers grow greater and greater and greater and greater, we are seeing the ripple effect of what happens when that happens. And it's gotten to the place now where it's so evident and it's so in our face that we can't turn a blind eye. Like, we're past the point of damage control. Past the point of damage control. Like, that's just not going to work on us. I know that in their mind, because they believe intelligently in status quo, that they are above a lot of people. That's how their mind operates, right? So because they are above people, we are insignificant, right? And we're unintelligent, and we're never going to catch on, and we're never going to figure it out. But there is a point where we're at now where we have caught on and we have figured it out. However, they are so much in their head and in their ego, in their ways, that now we've gotten past the point they're not even trying to hide it. They're not even trying to hide it. They're literally doing it right in front of our face and then laughing at us. Laughing at us. That's how crazy it's gotten. And so, but you have to ask yourself, you can't be surprised at the fact that we live in a world right now spinning in the way that it is, with pure evil, pure deception, pure corruption, pure chaos, pure money schemes, blacklisted. I mean, every portion of it, right? You can't be surprised at the fact that we live in a world like that, because everything that has happened up until this point has led us to this point. Why? Well, allow me to read this again. World founded on evil, ran by evil, led by evil would equal a world filled with darkness. And that's why God is here. God has always been here, but God is making his presence far more known. And the day that they decided to do that to Charlie 910 was really when they woke up God's people. And God's people are really getting gangster now. Gangsta. Savage. I'll be honest with you. I'm extremely disappointed in Erica Kirk. And I'm going to leave that there. I'm really disappointed in that. I don't know, the choices. I don't know. Everybody does grieve different. I feel that. But boy, oh boy. When it comes to knowing your husband and his truths and walking his legacy out, you do it right and you do it honorably. And they're not doing that. The things that they talk about, their strategies, their events, who they're having on, things like that, they're not following what Charlie's last words were and where his movement was going. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why? You know why. Deep down, we all know why. And I just pray for the babies. I pray for his babies. I know what it feels like to live in a world that's really just a false reality. And everything in it is fake, and everybody in my life, whether that be my family, my friends, in different ways, are just committed to going along with this Truman Show, this exploitation, because they know the seeds they sowed, they know the choices they made, and if it got out world stage, well, then that would be an interesting concept for them, wouldn't it? But at the end of the day, you can't beat the inevitable, and you can't play God. And if you choose to live in a world and portray yourself as a very good religious person, but in the dark do very, very evil things, God takes note of that too. He does. And he may allow you to walk it out and do the things that he does allow you. But I promise you, in your day-to-day life, there are moments in your day that you get a slap in the face, because that's God letting you know, I know, brother, I know, sister, I know what you did. I know what you're doing, and I know what you're a part of. And you might have the worldly and earthly control right now, but spiritually, you can't supersede God. You can't. You cannot trump God. Trump cannot trump God. He can't. And he can be heaven bound, but he cannot trump God. That's what he can't do. And I live in a world where God is my full front. God is my leader. That's who I follow. And God stands for what's right and for what's wrong, and truth, facts, evidence, not corruption, not lies, not deceit, not money laundering, not one party or one group or one, only allowing particular people in this world to be successful. It's really lined out like that if you really think about it. There's a certain caliber of people, a certain classification of people that have a forward movement based off their what they were born into, and vice versa. And I see that now. I so see that. And that's where all these underground networks and all these underground secret SYZs and all these handlers come in. It really comes in that. It's old money. It's funny money. It's dirty money. It really, really is. And it's very, very much prominent in the state of Florida. It's crazy how different the state of Florida has taken a change in the last 6 years. There's a lot of funny money in Florida. There's a lot of funny money everywhere, but there's a lot of funny money in the freaking panhandle of Florida. I'll tell you that. Doge ended very quickly. I mean, what all did you guys find? You should go and look in all the churches. Go take a look in their books. But heaven forbid, no, you can't do that, because they're all a part of it. All a part of it. They really are. That's why, at first when I started going down my spiritual awakening, I considered going into ministry, and I considered finding a job and going through the schooling of church, for that. But I'm like, nope, not even going to do that. Not even going to go down that road. Nowhere in the Bible did it say you had to go to school to become a scholar to teach the gospel. No, it didn't. I must have overlooked that read. But again, they take the Bible and they move it to fit their narrative. That is how they do it, because they are God. Habitation. Jesus wants to fill every area of your life. Surrendered everything. Yield every thought, hope, dream, and question, fear to the Lord. Make your life a habitation for his glory. Hold nothing back from him. Absolutely nothing. He knows everything about me, and vice versa. He's in the details, every bit of it. I ain't got nothing to hide, and I love it. And I am who I am, and I'm sorry that it fluffers a lot of people. I freaking am. I don't know why. I just wish people would freaking talk to me instead of doing all this crap. Jesus isn't interested in spending time with you only when you go to church, when you set aside time to pray. He wants to live in continual communion with you. Exactly. Expect him to speak to you while watching a movie. Lean into his arms when you're washing